Hello, everybody. This is John Paval with the Access Arts Live weekly roundup of chamber and contemporary music live stream action for the week of October 6th to Sunday, October 12th. And we have a plethora of both, this week, we have both very traditional, classical chamber music and a good number on the weekend of what I call now music, contemporary compositions. And before I get to that, let me remind you, if you're watching this on Facebook, please like the video. If you're watching this on any of our other platforms, please follow and or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and or LinkedIn, so we can continue to make sure that you get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in the coming year. So this week, we have got now music coming from New York City and Chicago on the weekend. We've got quality recitals coming out of London. We've got sophisticated musical series coming out of Madrid. We've got early music, well, very interesting, different early music coming out of New York City with Midtown concerts and more. So if you follow us, then you will have already seen the notice that we kicked off this week with Susanna Braun playing a piano recital at St. Marys Perivale, playing Holliger, Bach, Beethoven, Rachmaninoff, Schubert, and Liszt. And you would also know that, let me just mention this before I get into anything else, that this week has been ongoing the Chopin International Piano Competition in Warsaw. And this evening, as I'm talking to you, the last of a series of sessions involving 80 top young pianists from around the world is taking place. And we have separate notices that we put up for that. So I will not be telling you more about that, but it has been a very exciting 3 or 4 days as the first wave of these 80 participants have gotten in on the action. Later tonight at 10 o'clock European time, they will be announcing who are the lucky 40 pianists who go on to the second round. Now let's get on with this week's other individual live streams for me to tell you about. And that's absolutely the wrong photo to put up for this, so I will have to just remove it and give you a proper introduction here. Hold on a second. Let me double check the photos that I want to present to you. See if we have this photo, and I don't think we do. I think I had trouble digging it up. Yeah, we do not have a photo for this first announcement. It's St. Marys Perivale. Continuing off of, we just told you about Susanna Braun. Spanish-Ukrainian duo Sofía Gómez Alberto on the violin and Svitlana Kosenko on the piano treat you to Sarasate, Enescu, Frolub's Porgy and Bess, and Novacek's Rags in another quality St. Marys Perivale live stream Thursday afternoon. That's at 3 o'clock in the afternoon European time, 9 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, 6 in the morning on the West Coast, and 11 o'clock late night down under in Australia. The pieces they're doing, the piece by Sarasate is Zig Oinerweisen, and then Enescu's Impromptu Concertante, then Frolef's Concert Fantasy on Gershwin's Porgy and Bess, then Novacek's Four Rags for violin and piano, a fantasy piece by Schumann, some Clark, some more Enescu. Sofía Gómez Alberto is just finished up her artist diploma at the Royal College of Music. She's already performed at places like the Elgar Room and the Wigmore Hall. She's a violist with the Isla String Quartet, or that could be pronounced Isla, I-S-L-A. And she's been freelancing with the LSO, the London Symphony, since about a year and a half ago. Won a number of awards at UK and international competitions. Svitlana Kosenko, she got all her degrees in Kharkiv, or Sharkiv, I think they pronounce it, or Kharkiv, not sure, in the Ukraine, at the Special Music School. And then she got a bachelor and master's degree at the Kharkiv University of Arts. Won a slew of prizes back about 20 years ago. And then for a number of years worked as the official staff pianist at the Yehudi Menuhin School. And now she's working as an accompanist in the strings department at the Royal College of Music. Sounds like a lively, interesting concert. Then next up will be yet another concert, the third of this week's live streams, coming to you from St. Marys Perivale. Sunday, October 12th, the British award-winning pianist and recording artist Mark Viner, considered to be a torchbearer of the Romantic Revival, treats you to works by Liszt, Alkan, Godowsky, and Chaminade. Sunday, October 12th, and yet another quality live stream from St. Marys Perivale. That'll be at the usual 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon time, and the corresponding times on the East and West Coast in the U.S., midnight down under in Australia. Viner was a prodigy. Got into the Purcell School of Music when he was only 13, was a scholarship student at the Royal College of Music, where he got his bachelor's and master's in performance in 2013. Why is he playing Alkan? Well, he won first prize at the Alkan Zimmerman International Piano Competition in Athens, Greece, about a decade ago. As I think he's the chairman of the Alkan Society since 2014. Made his Wigmore Hall debut in 2018. It was very well received, often appears on BBC Radio, played at a number of music festivals in the UK and across Europe. He'll be doing Liszt Les Adieux, Alkan's 12 studies on all the major keys, 12 études dans tous les tons majeurs. And from that, he'll do number 10, the Adagio, Chant d'amour and Chant de mort, Song of Love and Song of Death, and number 11, Posément, posed. Then he'll do Godowsky's Java Suite, Phonoramas, and number 2, Puppet Shadow plays. He'll do Chaminade's Marine, Opus 38, and Londine, Opus 101. And he'll finish up with Liszt's Hymn to Saint Cecilia of Charles Gounod. Interesting, very interesting selection of pieces, many of which you may well not have heard before. Then we move on to the 3 live streams being presented this week by March Vivo in Madrid. All highly interesting, sophisticated, usually preceded by about 30 minutes of discussion, which is in Spanish. So if your Spanish isn't so good, you want to tune in a half hour later. October 8th, top pianist Julius Drake accompanies baritone Samuel Hasselhorn in a program of works by Schumann based on the poetry of Heinrich Heine and Joseph von Eichendorff in another sophisticated March Vivo live stream. That'll be at 6 in the evening European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast. Schumann found a lot of inspiration for his leader in Heine and von Eichendorff, and so they're focusing in on that, but not only Robert Schumann, also Clara Schumann. So they'll start out, the first half of the program is songs by Clara Schumann, the Volkslied. by Heinrich Heine. And so that includes Liebe Zauber, Ich stand in dunklen Träumen, Die stille Lotusblume by Emanuel Geibel, Lorelei by Heinrich Heine. And then in the second half, that's not all of them, I'm just giving you some selections. Second half, they do Robert Schumann's various pieces based on poems by Eichendorff and Heine. Another one of these sophisticated March Vivo live streams. Then on Friday, there's another one, and this is unusual because usually their live streams are on Wednesday and then Saturday and Sunday, but they must have something going on Sunday, which interferes with the usual planning, or maybe it's just, this is kind of a jazzy one, and usually we don't cover jazz, but it's March Vivo, and we always cover March Vivo. So Friday, October 10th, March Vivo opens another musical series, this one devoted to Black music, with the Iván, Melón, Lewis trio playing bolero, Afro-Cuban, and Creole piano from the golden age of Havana music. Ernesto Lecuona, Bola de Nieve, Miguel Matamoros, and Pablo Milanese. That's at 6 o'clock on Friday, European time in the evening, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast. And this is a true trio of Ivan Lewis on the piano, Gaston Joya on the double bass, Michael Oliveira on the drums, and Carlos Galilea doing a presentation around the playing of this music. We don't have more of a detailed program. We'll give you a link to the program page on March Vivo where you can look up more of the details about it, but don't expect to find a list of the songs they're going to be playing. And then finally, we have one more March Vivo live stream, and that will be on Saturday. And we're back to much more traditional classical music. Saturday, October 11th, March Vivo continues its series on sorrow in music with a whole series of Stabat Maters by Joseph Reinberger and Zoltan Kodaly in the 1890s and Knut Neustadt in 1986, sung by the Coro de la Comunidad de Madrid, also known as the Madrid Community Choir. That's the top choir. They work with the Madrid Phil. They work with the Teatro Real in Madrid and other top organizations. This will be at noon, their usual weekend time, noon on Saturday, October 11th, 6 in the morning on the East Coast, 3 o'clock a.m. if you stayed up late on Friday in LA, and 8 o'clock in the evening down under in Australia. The point they're making is that the Stabat Mater genre, which in the 1800s was still religious and liturgical, by the late 20th century, the 1900s, was basically a concert hall piece. So they're doing those 3 Stabat Maters that I mentioned. They're also doing, though, a Mendelssohn Ave Maria for choir and organ, Opus 138, a Pianto della Madonna for choir and piano by Xavier Monsalvace, and Poulenc's Litany to the Black Virgin, or the Letanías a la Virgen Negra, as they put it here, for woman's choir and organ. There'll be a cello, an organ, and the piano being played. The director of this choir is Javier Carmena, who's a tenor. He's the acting director who's formerly been the deputy director, and he's an accompanist on the piano for a top Spanish soloist, and he's also a composer. So, choral music, the music of sorrow, here you go. Now, let us get to individual concerts again with our friends at Midtown the Midtown concerts. Thursday, October 9th, our friends at the Midtown Concerts bring live stream the Mexamorphosis group, led by mezzo-soprano Guadalupe Perazza, for a concert blending traditional musical styles, early music from around the world, improvisation, and yes, dance as well. That'll be at their usual time, 1:15 in New York City, 10:15 in the morning on the West Coast, and 7:15 in the evening here in Europe. I can show you a picture of the different participants. They have a rotating group of musicians who, in order to sort of fertilize each other with different ideas about different traditional cultures. So you'll have Guadalupe Perazza, she's a mezzo, Baba Musa, who plays the drum, Sinue Padilla, who on percussion and dance, Jay Lee on the harpsichord, Sori Diabate also known as Papa Klasima, singing, and also soprano Hisin Mei Tracy Chang. So a real mix of people from different cultures, and that's the whole idea of this group. They also include in the music they'll be singing son rarocho and traditional African music, both of which are come out of oral traditions, and they don't have written scores. They've been supported with awards by the New York State Council on the Arts, the Lower Manhattan Cultural Council, and others. And this particular concert has already been performed, and as the French would say, rodé, worked in for St. Ignatius Loyola, for Musica Viva, New York, and at the Americas Society Celebrate Mexico Now Festival. Very interesting take on early music of another kind, but it has a harpsichord in it. So chapeau, hats off to Midtown Concerts, and check it out. Now we move to a series of contemporary music live streams going on this weekend that I want to tell you about. Sometimes I do these separately, but I think our timing is working out so that I can include this these weekend offerings of now or contemporary music in today's live stream. First, Friday and Saturday, October 10th and 11th, Roulette Intermedium hosts the Triple Canopy Symposium, 2 days of performances and discussions between musicians and writers about contemporary issues. A little warning here, from the looks of it, there's a left-wing approach to political issues here. And well, some of our people that are interested in chamber music are very conservative, but some are not. And generally, people that are interested in now music tend to be less conservative and more towards the left. We don't take political positions. This is a 2-day live stream. We'll give you the link to both days. Friday evening in New York City, Saturday all day long, starting in the afternoon in New York City, 2:00 in the afternoon. Triple Canopy is a nonprofit magazine that regularly works with contributors on artworks, essays, fictions, conversations, performances, books, other media, from conception to realization. Navigating, as they say, the digital and physical realms where ideas and audiences take shape, unquote. So this will be a mix. Some of it will be performances, and some of it will be discussions or like workshops. So Friday at 8:00, it's a Holes Marathon, which is an evening of performances of and about holes. That's Friday evening. And then on Saturday, they start out with at 2:00 with a session called Bad Criticism, a discussion about when, why, and how cultural criticism fails. Then that moves on to another panel on culture at the front, which is on the history and future of leftist opposition movements, connecting artists and writers with organizers and unions. 5 o'clock, language against intelligence, which is a discussion of international art English, which I don't know much about. Then 8 o'clock, a concert called Surround Sound, which is a live low frequency improvisation and conversation about the bass as a technology and a metaphor in and beyond Black music, presented with Roulette Intermedium. That's what you have Friday, Saturday, in terms of, well, this is a conjunction between political issues or social issues, the future issues, and now music being created for the occasion. We then move on to, I got a note from Gene Pritzker, he of the merry band of musicians at Composers Concordance, telling me about a concert or an event they're going to be live streaming on Saturday evening. So I want to tell you about this event. Saturday, October 11th, Composers Concordance live streams Interpretations of Art, a musical, poetic, visual art event held at the Hardware Gallery in the Tribeca district of New York City. Fancy an evening in Tribeca? This will be at 7 o'clock New York time, 4 o'clock LA time, 1 o'clock in the morning here in Paris, where I might dip in to see it. I'm always up that late on a Saturday. And 9 o'clock Sunday morning down under in Australia, if you're ready for that kind of now music and experimentation at 9 o'clock in the morning. I wouldn't be, but some people are. Wake them up. Anyway, this will be the Hardware Gallery is premiering some new works is showing some works by Ford Krull and Scott Borofsky. And the music you're going to hear is inspired by those works. So this is now music, just being made up. It's conceived as a dialogue between canvas, word, and sound. The picture you have there is one of the musicians. That's the only picture I got out of Compcord. And I will say this to Composers Concordance and to Gene Pritzker. Gene, give us better pictures showing musicians in action that we can use when we're promoting your work. Because usually we just use these abstract designs, which I don't think are a turn on for our followers. They want to, in general, musicians don't seem to realize that the general public, it doesn't really turn us on to see what you look like in a green cashmere sweater. We want to see you in the heat of action, the way we want to see sports figures. We're sure you look great in a green cashmere sweater, but that's not the issue. So anyway, it's the Concord Ensemble, which we'll be playing, consisting of, in that photo there, is Michio Suzuki on the bass clarinet, the effervescent Gene Pritzker, who runs Composers Concordance, on the guitar. He's a composer for film and television, among other things, and an avowed opponent of boundaries between genres, meaning classical, jazz, electronic, whatever. Artie Dibble on the viola and Lawrence Goldman on the bass. And our friend, there's also going to be spoken word, which will be spoken by our friend Robert Voisi. I think, am I right about that? Let me double check this. Is Robert Voisi in this? No, I don't see him in this. So I might have to cut that out if I do a clip of this. Anyway, the composers for the event are Anthony Branker, Dan Cooper, Artie Dibble, Lawrence Goldman, Jinka Mizuki, Pritzker, Dave Soldier, and Marina Vesic. And there are poets as well, including Ruth Adamson, Roger Alphen, Robert Ford, John S. Hall, Peter Christian Hall, Jim Kempner, Imelda O'Reilly, and John Pietaro, reciting original poetry that was written for the occasion. This is all just now. If you like now creation, this is for you. Have a good time. There you go, Gene. I told you I'd plug it. There you go. All right. Then next up we have We have Constellation Chicago weighing in with Now Music coming out of Chicago. Do I have a photo of them? Yeah, well, and actually it's Now Music from Europe. Last week they had Lisa Linden. They had a terrific program of short pieces by that composer for different instruments or songs for singing. It was just great. Saturday, October 11th, Constellation Chicago live streams the bassoon-led ensemble Tiki Men from Berlin, along with itinerant drummer Dylan Ryan for an evening of progressive techno now music. That's right. This is not exactly classical, but it's now. Tiki Men of Berlin is a bassoon, T keyboards, drums, and cajon. The program says Tiki Men of Berlin never really meant anything. Okay. So I'm not sure how to describe them more than that. Dylan Ryan is a drummer who drums with a lot of different groups in the experimental community. If you're familiar with Now Music, then you're familiar with Dylan Ryan already. And if you're not, here's a chance for you to discover it. He's also worked with the installation artist Doug Aitken on video installations and things. So, and he has a new recording called "In the Same Room with a Cactus," which is out. I'm not sure if you will find that online or what, which he performs with Nate Lapine on reed synthesizers and Jim Elkington on guitar. Once again, this will be one of these now music things. So, and it's on a little later, like an hour and a half later than the Composer's Concordance, because this is on at 8:30 Chicago time, 9:30 on the East Coast, 3:30 in the morning here in Europe, and 11:30 Sunday morning down under in Australia. So you can watch Composer's Concordance at 7 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time in New York City, and then 2.5 hours later, you can have even more now music. You can just now all Saturday evening. Okay. I hope that was somewhat of a clear discussion of what Tiki Men is all about, because I really couldn't tell much more from what I read. And I have one more live stream to tell you about, and we've all brought it in our 30-minute limit. How do you like that? And this takes us till Sunday evening. Sunday, October 12th, the Puget Chamber Winds are live streaming a concert of music by Granger, Rossetti, Marteau, and Debussy at the Episcopal Church of the Holy Cross in Redmond, Washington. That's at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, West Coast time, Pacific Daylight Time. So that'll make it at 11 o'clock at night here in Europe, late night. And it goes on for an hour and 45 minutes. They may have an intermission in there. It's Percy Granger's Lincolnshire Posy, or selections from that. Antonio Rossetti's Partita for Winds in F major. Henri Marteau's Serenade for Winds, Opus 20. And Claude Debussy's Suite Bergamesque, arranged by Ray Thompson. The earlier piece by Percy Granger is also arranged by Ray Thompson. And the guy, there are enough of them that in this ensemble, as you can see in the photograph, that they avail themselves of a conductor. The conductor is Doug Gallatin, who's works with musicians from various Seattle area community orchestras and bands. To me, it looks like an interesting program to finish off your weekend with. Folks, that's what we have for you for this week. I hope that one more, some, or any of these live streams inspires you, uplifts you, or just shows you a heck of a good time. That now music on the weekend. Okay. But some of the other, and the Mexamorphosis. Anyway, it's been fun for me to go through all this and learn it all, and it keeps me busy here in the waning years of my life. If you can believe that I'm actually there. Before I leave off for the week, please, if you're watching this on Facebook, like the video. And if you're watching this on any of our other platforms, help us with the algorithms and follow and/or subscribe to Access Arts Live on YouTube, X, TikTok, Instagram, Threads, and/or LinkedIn. And we will continue to make sure you get more than 1,000 live links to live quality performances online in the coming year. Thanks for tuning in. I'll say ciao for now. And hold on, one more thing. I just got to make sure that I did include you in the live video on Instagram. I'm so happy about that because I have to do one extra click in order to do that. Thanks to those of you who tune in, and to those of you who watch the follow-up videos, thanks to you as well. Ciao for now. Oh, head right over now to the Chopin International Piano Competition and hear the last few pianists playing before they announce those who are passing on to the second round at 10 o'clock European time, which will be 4 o'clock on the East Coast and 1 o'clock in the afternoon on the West Coast. Don't you want to know? Bye.